Okay, a little story time. I was supposed to do a 18mm f2 review video back in March. My good friends at B&H, thank you B&H, sent me an 18mm f2 lens. But you remember March 2020, don't you? I took a lot of photographs with the 18mm f2 in the hopes of making a review for you guys. I actually even planned a battle of the pancake lenses, the 27mm f2 versus the 18. I did some test shots. But it was such a strange time. We were taking daily walks together in the neighborhood. This was when people were like scrounging for toilet paper. We weren't even wearing masks yet. So I thought that I would share some of my like photojournalistic photographs that I took with the 18mm f2 lens in this video. But first, I'll give you a little bit of review. I mean, I returned that lens so long ago. But here's what I remember about the lens. Number one, it was a great size, but I wouldn't call it a pancake lens. You know, coming from one of my favorite lenses, the 27mm f2 lens, this lens was a little bigger. But it fit great on the XT2, XT3 body. I felt that it fit perfectly on the larger body. On the XT20, it was like, okay, why would I put it on there though? It was just a little bit smaller than the kit lens, the 18-55. And some of you may ask yourself, why do I need an 18 f2 prime? There's other primes that are close, like the 16mm 1.4, there's a 16mm 2.8, there's a 23mm 1.4. You know, there's so many prime lenses around this 18. What does the 18mm f2 bring to the table? Well, one, it's a very cool compact size compared to like the larger 16 or even the 23 1.4. Two, the thing that impressed me most was the minimum focus distance. I took a picture of a tree and then took a picture of the tree to see how close I could get. And I was amazed how close I could get with the lens. And so I used it kind of like as a semi-macro. I took pictures of bagels. I took test shots of my watch to show you how close you can get with this. Autofocus wise, I remember it being fine. It didn't compare to the 35mm f2, the 23 f2, these weather resistant lenses. Those will focus silently and super fast. It was in the category of like the 35 1.4 or the 23 1.4, which, those guys are like, you can hear the motors. So I wasn't a super fan of it. It's an older lens. But taking it out, it's the same story with a prime. If you go out with a prime lens, those of you that only shoot with zooms, it really, really, works your creative mind. If you're just pigeonholed into one focal length, it's weird. You think it limits you, but it frees you from too many choices. It's that paradox. It frees you from just deciding, should I go wide? Should I go zoom? You only have one choice. People will always ask me, which one do I pick? Which zoom? It doesn't matter. Your work will follow your focal length, okay? So it doesn't really matter which focal length you have. You'll find a way to make it work, and that's the fun part of photography. Now, going back to story time, the beginning of the pandemic, the streets were completely empty. Like no one was out. We didn't know what was going on. There was a stay-at-home order, no school, everyone was working from home. So I went out and shot with the camera, and I decided to edit all my photos in classic chrome. I decided to use classic chrome, which I never use because it's like someone urinated on the negative. I'm really not a fan of the classic chrome look, but it worked here. Classic chrome sort of removes some of the blue and it kind of mutes some of the colors. And I feel like classic chrome was perfect for how we felt during this time. And walking around and seeing the empty streets and walking with the family, I still have some kind of classic chrome days where I don't know where we're going. I don't know what's going on. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling classic chromey. So I kind of want to convey that feeling in these photographs. I present you the 18 millimeter f2 showcase of how we felt in March. Classic chrome, pandemic, the unknown, feeling down. We're all going through it, and hopefully next year we can have like some Velvia days, some Provia days as we get through this together. But it was definitely fun to capture a specific time in our history. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.